Hello, welcome back to my video series on biking the Florida Keys. Before we get on the bikes, as I promised in this video, here's a quick summary of the first 2 days of the trip, riding the bikes from Homestead, Florida down to Key West. This is the map for day one. We stayed in Marathon overnight, so we passed the hotel, then we backtracked so we could get 100 miles in on the first day and complete a century ride. From the time we decided to ride to the time we actually hit the road, it was 3 months and 2 days, and we got about 650 miles in training, riding 2 or 3 times a week. Not all of the training rides were outdoors because of weather, but over the 2-day ride we did almost 160 miles. The first day was the longest ride. We got 100 miles in. That was our goal. Second day was almost 60 miles, but that was with some extra unnecessary turns and riding around through town once we got to Key West. So it's not 160 straight miles from Homestead to Key West, so don't think that. We did run into some problems. Misty had a wipeout. I had a couple of flat tires, so it wasn't event-free or issue-free, but at least it was nothing serious. The second day, our friends came up from Key West. Kelly and Amy rode with us on the second day, and Kelly had a wipeout on the second day, and that was basically because she stopped and forgot to put her feet down, so she fell off the bike. It was pretty funny. I had some physical issues towards the end of the first day. I'll talk about what caused that as we get into the ride video. Here's our warning: if you have seizures from flashing lights or strobe lights, you might want to skip ahead a couple minutes because we have our bike lights set to strobe for increased safety. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. 5:45 a.m. Wednesday morning. We are leaving the hotel, headed over to the intersection, and then we're going to head south. And we drove the route last night. We decided it was safer to take Cart Sound Road than it would be to take US 1. As you can see, we have headlights and tail lights. Misty has one headlight on the front of her bike. I have 2 headlights on my bike. I have one around the forks, and I have one up on the handlebars. She's got a flashing light on her helmet. She's attached a flashing light to her biking jersey, and then she has the Trek flashing tail light on her bike. She has a cycling tank top, so it does have the pockets in the back like your normal cycling jersey would have. We're trying to be as visible as possible since we plan on being out here before sunrise. Our plan is to get to the Shell station at mile marker 105 in Key Largo. It's about 28 to 30 miles away, and we hope to be there in about 2 hours. Here's a good lesson for everyone: don't take your eyes off the road, because you never know when a fire hydrant might pop out in front of you in the middle of the sidewalk. We run out the sidewalk pretty quick here, and then we got to get right on the road, and this is only, I don't know, half mile or so before we got to make a left-hand turn over to Cart Sound Road. You can avoid this little trip here if you just want to drive down to the last gas station and unload the bikes and get on the bikes there, and then cross over to Cart Sound Road. You can see the headlights throwing a good amount of light on the pavement there, so we feel like we're pretty well illuminated, pretty well visible. As a cyclist, you're responsible for your own safety. Just remember that. From traffic coming at us to the traffic coming from behind us, there's no way they could not see us. There are no street lights. This road is pitch black. So when they're coming up on us, they see our lights. Most of the drivers you can see, they went completely over into the other lane. It gave us the full lane. There really is no shoulder on this road. So we're riding on the left side of the white line here. We don't have an option, so we are in traffic. And we still felt like this section of the trip was safer to ride on the Cartsound Road than it was to ride down the first strip on US 1. Just because we've driven it so many times, as soon as people pass that last stoplight in Homestead, they punch the gas and they go flying. They're in a hurry to get down to Key West. So we wanted to take this section of the trip before all the tourists get out on the road. We're expecting a lot of local traffic, a lot of commuter traffic, people going to work, not people who are out sightseeing. People that are driving on Cartsound Road are familiar with Cartsound Road. If you're gonna drive to Key West and put in the GPS is not going to take you out of the way. It's going to take you straight down US 1. So if you're on Cartsound Road, you know what to expect there. Now, I did give you a little hint that I ran into some physical issues after lunch, and here's part of the reason why. You see Misty's pulling away from me here. It's because I'm fiddling around with a camera trying to get some still photos. Yes, I have the GoPro on the handlebars mounted. I also have a little handheld camera I'm trying to get some still shots with. Don't do what I did. This was not a smart idea. Trying to steer the bike with one hand and then two fingers on the other hand while you're trying to hold the camera. This is just as bad as texting is driving. Trust me, I won't be doing this again. You're going to see me fall behind at least a dozen times, and then I have to turn around and put in a lot more effort to catch up to her. She's not flying. We're not trying to break any land speed records. We averaged 15 miles per hour for the entire length of the ride. We might be going 17 or 18 at this point. And as I mentioned in the travel video, my bike came out of adjustment and I'm missing two of my important gears. So I have to basically sprint, spin at a high cadence, or I have to what we call mash the pedals and go into the hardest gear. So I'm going to be burning a lot of extra energy because I was stupid and I thought I would, try to catch those some better pictures. At this point, I think it took me about 3 minutes to catch up to her. When we turn and head southwest on 905 towards Key Largo, I'm chasing her for at least 2 miles. So imagine doing, a mile, 2 mile sprint every half hour or so. It wears you out quickly. If you fall behind your riding partners, don't try to overexert yourself to catch up. Wait for them to slow down and let you catch up. Don't go chasing, don't go sprinting unless you are confident you have the physical ability to do that. We are not pro cyclists. I don't have the physical ability to constantly do a sprint for 1 or 2 miles every few minutes. So again, you can see how most cars are giving us the entire lane. And then you can also see I'm speeding this up now, so you can see how long I had to chase her to catch up to her, which is just a complete waste of energy. Don't do this. Like I said, this causes me problems later on. Once we make this little bend in the road here, we catch a headwind, and this is why I have all the volume muted on the actual footage, because all you hear is wind in the microphone. This is the only real headwind we had until we got to about mile 90 the first day. We basically had no wind or a tailwind for 85% of this ride. The headwind that we had from the 7 Mile Bridge heading back up into Marathon to the hotel was horrible. It was a strong wind. I don't think I could go more than 12 miles an hour, and that was pushing it. So this guy is one of probably 3 or 4 people that really did not give us any room. I feel like this is way too close for comfort, especially after 20 other cars give you the full lane. This guy buzzed us pretty close. I'm riding a little bit to the left of Misty just to try to give her a little more room. I'm not completely drafting her, but I'm not out in the middle of the lane. I do this for 2 reasons. First of all, just to see around her a little bit, and secondly, if I get hit, maybe they'll correct enough not to hit her, because I'm a little bit more to the left by, a foot or 2. So now that the sun has come up a little bit, we get a good view of the roadway here, and you'll see why we are riding on the left side of the line, because there is no shoulder. If you go to the right side and you think you're going to ride on the shoulder, you are most likely going to wipe out. Loose gravel, large rocks. If you have a fat tire bike or a mountain bike, off-road bike, you may be okay. But if you're riding a road bike with the skinny tires, you're going to wipe out. There's no way you can handle that. Legally, you can ride in a pair. You can ride side by side. And as a cyclist, you're entitled to the entire lane. However, we are not riding like that because of the speed limit. It goes from 55 down to 45, and it's dark, and we're just not going to take that chance. So we're pretty much single file. I'm a little staggered left, as I said. I'll ride up next to her every once in a while to talk, but we're not riding hour by hour, side by side. We are now coming up to the intersection for 905. We're going to make a right turn. So we're now in North Key Largo. I'm going to slow down and back off a little bit. She's signaling right turn. I'm signaling right turn. It's a 3-way stop. She's checking for traffic. There's no one there, and we're proceeding through the stop sign. I've ridden with her enough times. She does not just carelessly blow through stop signs if that's what you're thinking. It didn't happen that way. We're a little over an hour into the ride at this point, and I remember I was completely drenched with sweat, which was a huge problem. Now, all of the training that we studied, all of the training that we practiced, was to consume at least 1 water bottle per hour. We're both riding with 2 water bottles on our bikes, which was the plan. We were going to ride for 2 hours to the Shell station and then stop and refill. What you see on this road is that nice wide bike lane that we did not have on the first about 18 miles. We didn't have that bike lane. This is part of the reason why we took this route, because for the next 9 miles we have our own space and we don't have to worry about traffic as much as we were before. Shortly after we make that right turn, we see mile marker 9. That means 9 miles to US 1 in Key Largo. For anyone that uses Strava, you can find a segment here, 9 mile long time trial. What you see here is a pretty uneventful 9 miles. It's the same scenery pretty much the whole time, with the tall trees growing on both sides of the road. We're passing a job site, I guess. This is where a lot of the laborers that passed us on Cardstown Road are parking their cars going to work on whatever it is they're working on. You see I start to fall behind a little bit. I'm fighting with the gears. I'm trying to get my gears to shift correctly, and it just was not working out. At this point, I should have called Sarah and told her we were 9 miles out from the rest stop. That would have given her about a half hour to meet us there. She's about 20 miles away from there, and I expected that we were going to stop and break and get a snack and get some beverages. I didn't reach out to Sarah till we were about 5 minutes from the rest stop, and there's no way that she was going to make it there in time to meet us when I had let her know where we were at. She was just leaving the hotel. Everything's going really good right now. We're moving at a pretty good clip. Misty's dialed in. She's resting on the aero bars. She's tucked and she is cranking away. We're going probably 18 miles an hour or faster at this point, which is, I will tell you, faster than she rode during any of our training rides. This is the analysis from the Strava app. You can see we're pushing close to 18, which was above our average, and I've already had to push this a couple times to catch up when I was falling behind messing around with the camera. We're about to pass the 2-mile mark, and then we pass a sign for the crocodile farm, and you can see how she's pulling away. I'm fighting with my gears a little bit, and then I see the sign for the crocodile farm. So I'm gonna be stupid again and pull out my camera and try to get still photos of the signage, and she keeps pulling farther and farther away. So I spend the next 5 and 6 minutes just trying to catch her. I burn what they call burn matches. I'm going all out trying to catch up to her, and with the mechanical problem I was having, you could see on the speed graph I couldn't get this over 18 miles an hour. So I wasted a lot of energy here. So that was the call to Sarah, letting her know where we were at, and I should have made that call probably a half hour earlier to give her time to meet us. So I'm coming up to the 1-mile mark here soon, and I still haven't caught Misty, and I don't catch her before we stop. I'm gonna let this play a little bit. You'll hear real-time audio where I'm fighting with my gears and breathing heavy. I've already been going hard for about a mile now, and it doesn't get any easier. Doesn't that shifting sound smooth and lovely? Let me explain a little bit more why this was such a problem for me. Normally when we're training, I'm up 2 hours before we're on the bike. I've got an energy drink and I've got a sports drink, so I'm at least 30 ounces of fluid in my system, plus some type of breakfast, whether it's a sandwich or a bagel or granola bars. So I'm pretty fueled up and ready to go when we were doing training. When we did this ride, I pretty much rolled out of bed and got dressed. I probably had half a bottle of water or half of an energy drink, a couple bites of bagel with peanut butter. We didn't even have a toaster. So I am drastically underhydrated. I've already sweat everything out. at the turn 9 miles ago, and I don't have enough fuel in my system at this point. I'm expecting a regular rest stop here, but we were feeling good. Pulled into the gas station. We didn't give Sarah enough time to meet us. She ran into the bathroom and we hit the road. Our routine of drinking 1 water bottle per hour, I finished my first water bottle while I waited for her to use the restroom, so I'm 1 water bottle behind during the 2-hour ride, and at least 30 to 40 ounces of fluids behind that I normally have before we even started riding. Right now we're feeling great. We're just going to jump right back on the bike and keep moving, but the dehydration will set in, and these extra sprints are going to come back to kick my butt a little bit later on. So right now we are off to lunch. Actually, it's going to be more like a breakfast stop. We're headed to Almirada, where we will make our next stop. We'll say peace out for now, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.